primaries are going to be here before we know it. We're just over 2 months away from our primary elections, where we begin to choose a number of our leaders.
Yeah, including who will be governor of our state. Now, in the race, 2 Republicans and 3 Democrats, and we are getting to know the candidates better. Last week, we had Governor Doug Ducey in studio, and in the coming weeks, we'll introduce you to everybody else.
Right. So we're continuing that this morning. We have a conversation with Democratic candidate Kelly Fryer from Tucson. You're a pastor and CEO of YWCA of Southern Arizona. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
Why do you want to be governor?
You know, I think Arizona should work for everyone, and I mean everyone. And right now it's not. I think it can, and I think I can help make that happen.
In what way is it not working for everyone?
Well, there are some folks in our state who are doing really well. There's a kind of a slice of folks in Maricopa County for whom things are going great, and I think that's terrific. I happen to live in Pima County, work in Pima County, which is the poorest state of its size in the nation. I think that that's problematic. I think we need an economic development strategy that works for everybody in all 15 counties around the state of Arizona. That's just one example. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but more than half of the children in our state live in homes that are economically distressed. I think that's super problematic. You want me to keep going?
No. Well, we got a few more questions for you here. But, you know, we saw, just a couple of months ago, a force of some 50,000 teachers, demanding better pay and walking.
Right.
How would you solve the education issue, and are you satisfied with what the governor has done with the 20% raise?
No. Well, people in his own party don't think that his plan makes any sense. We need more revenue in our state budget. That's just kind of a bottom line.
So our budget, higher taxes.
Well, I think I'm a big fan of the Invest in Ed ballot initiative. In fact, I proposed something very similar to that right after I got into the race. Right now, if you make $5 million in income, that's probably not you two, it certainly isn't me, but if you make $5 million in income in a year, you pay roughly the same tax rate in income tax as somebody who makes $50,000 a year.
But you're paying substantially more because you're being taxed on $5 million.
You're paying exactly the same, almost exactly the same rate.
Right.
It's the same rate that you would have paid in 1933. And it is about a third of what people who make $5 million a year in other states around the country are paying. And I think that's.
You think that needs to be fixed?
I think that needs to be fixed. Yeah, it's one of the reasons that we don't have enough money in our state budget. Right now, we're stealing money from Peter to pay Paul. That's a reference from my
Would you tax only
days.
high earners there, or would you tax?
Absolutely.
Does everybody have a fair share? So a campaign saying I'm going to raise your taxes is going to be a tough one.
No,
you don't think so?
You know what? My intel tells me that even folks who are in those upper income brackets understand. You know, they're business people. They understand. If you don't have enough revenue to run your business, you're going to go out of business, and that's what's happening to the state of Arizona right now.
Okay. I know we want to cover a little bit of everything in the short amount of time we have. Can we talk a little bit about immigration reform? Because that's a huge topic of conversation for everybody in our state, and I would imagine in your county specifically, too.
Right on the border. You know, I was so disappointed to see our governor standing with the inhumane policies that right now are coming out of Washington, D.C. If I were the governor today, I would be pulling those National Guard troops off the border. I would begin demilitarizing what's happening in our communities along the border. I would be in those detention centers, making sure that we had the most humane possible situation for the kids that are being held particularly, and for the families. And I would be telling the story across our country about who our immigrant neighbors really are, about why these families are pounding down our door, asking for help. These are the most vulnerable people on the planet. And instead of responding with compassion, instead of responding in the words of the Statue of Liberty, bring me you're tired and you're poor, we're putting them in cages, we're putting them in jails.
So what would you do with the thousands of people who are coming across? How would Arizona pay for needed services or maybe job training or things like that? Where's that money going to come from?
Well, look at how many millions of dollars we're spending every day to put them in detention centers. I mean, it's costing something like $700 a day for each child that we have in detention. Like, multiply that times the thousands of kids that are being detained right now. Multiply that over a couple of years, we're talking about millions and millions of dollars that we could be using to resettle these families and to give them a safe place to live and a new start. We're using our money in punitive ways instead of in compassionate and humane ways. I think we need to turn that around.
Well, good luck to you going forward. Thank you for coming up here to
Thanks
talk
very
with us
much.
today. Nice
Thank
meeting you.
Good to
Nice
meet you.
meeting you.
Thanks.
Good luck
Thank
here in
you.
August. All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.